What's up, everybody? Cinephile Mike is here, and it is day 66 of Oscar Rewind, my bi-weekly series of video commentary that reflect the work of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. I dig deep into those IMDb profiles, and my hope is that you will discover a new, older favorite, or maybe revisit something you haven't seen in a while. As always, I'll be discussing the recent Oscar connection, awards history for the film, the box office information, the critical response, and as always, these reviews are spoiler-free. Now, before we jump in, do me a favor, click that subscribe button. You definitely want to be a part of all the cinematic goodness coming your way here on the channel. I mean, hey, we're a month out from award season. Gonna be great. So, as I explained yesterday, if you're with me, there was a little tech glitch, so I couldn't do Rewind last week. So, to honor Halloween, this week it is all about the treats, no tricks. You're getting 4 episodes this week so we can wrap up October's Music Month, looking at all those Best Score and Best Song nominees and winners. And in that, today I bring you DreamWorks Pictures' The Prince of Egypt. Based on the book of Exodus and a story by Kelly Asbury and Lorna Cook, the screenplay was ultimately written by Philip Lezebnik, and the film was directed by the team of Brenda Chapman, Steve Hickner, and Simon Wells. Released just in time for the holidays in December 1999, the film was a box office success, more than doubling its reported budget of $60 to $100 million. Domestically alone, the film made $101,413,188 and then added an additional $117,200,000 internationally for a worldwide take of $218,613,188. Critically, the film was also well received, currently sitting with a 79% rating from 89 critic reviews and a higher popcorn meter, 90%, culled from over 100,000 audience scores. Award season-wise, the film ended its awards run with 2 Oscar nominations, Best Original Score and Best Original Song for the power ballad When You Believe, and, of those 2 nods, the latter was the win. It won Best Song. A few other recognitions to highlight is that it had 2 Critics' Choice wins for these categories, Song and Score, 2 Golden Globe nominations in those 2 categories, and the last I will reference is the 5 Annie Awards. It was nominated for Outstanding Achievement in an Animated Theatrical Feature, and then there were 4 Outstanding Individual Achievement nominations for Effects Animation, Storyboarding in an Animated Feature Production, Directing, and Voice Acting. Also, I think I should reference, while not a film award per se, The Prince of Egypt was also nominated for 2 Grammy Awards, Best Song for When You Believe, and Best Soundtrack Album. So, the music is why we are here, and it is the man that we all know, Stephen Schwartz, who this year earned his 9th Oscar nod for Best Original Score, sharing the nomination with John Powell for the music of Wicked. His other 8 nods were the 2 that I referenced for this film. He shared the song nomination with Hans Zimmer. He also had 3 Best Song nominations in the same year for the same film. Schwartz, 3 nominations for Enchanted. Did not win any of the 3, but they were there. And then also, he had 3 other nominations with 1 other win, so he has 3 Oscars out of 9 wins, 33% success rate. He was nominated for Best Score for Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and his first 2 nods were double wins. So the first time he was nominated for 2 Oscars, he won. He shared both with Alan Menken for the Best Song, Colors of the Wind, and Best Score, both of these for Disney's classic Pocahontas. Now, I was tempted to dip into Pocahontas because those were his first nods and wins, but I decided to go with The Prince of Egypt because I feel it may not be as well known as the Disney ones are. So, let's get into it. As I referenced, The Prince of Egypt is based on the book of Exodus from the Bible. I will try to be brief because many may or may not be familiar with this. There have been several film adaptations that have tackled this book. But I'm going to reference a few key points and the vocal cast here. And when you hear who's in this, if you haven't seen this, you may be like, whoo, I got to see it. So the film opens in ancient Egypt as Pharaoh Seti, voiced by Patrick Stewart, has ordered the mass infanticide of the Hebrews, fearing their numbers were growing too rapidly, and he wanted to control his slaves. Yocheved, voiced by Ofra Haza, an enslaved Hebrew woman, places her newborn son in a basket in the river, praying with her children, Miriam and Aaron, who, when they become adults later in the film, will be voiced by Sandra Bullock and Jeff Goldblum. And the three pray that he will be saved. And saved he is. His basket washes up in the home of Pharaoh and his wife, Queen Tuya, voiced by Helen Mirren, who adopts him and names him Moses, and raises him alongside her other son, Ramesses. Years pass, and Moses and Ramesses, now voiced by Val Kilmer and Ralph Fiennes. See what I said about this cast? I'm not even done yet. They are young men searching their place in this world, constantly in competition, with Moses feeling slightly on the outskirts. He's not as familiar with his history. He goes along until he meets, through a variety of series of events, he meets Zipporah, voiced by Michelle Pfeiffer, who in many ways opens his eyes. I will skip the longer plot threads here, but eventually, despite the best efforts of Ramesses to keep things as they are and keep Moses there, while also dealing with the whispers of the high priest in his ear, voiced by Martin Short and Steve Martin. Only murders in the pyramid? Sorry. Not trying to make light of this film. As Moses goes along meeting Zipporah, being reunited with his family, he sees that his people, the Hebrews, are enslaved and they need to be freed. He wants to free them. That is what he has been sent to do. We see the burning bush. That is the mission that he is given. And, we know where the story is going to go. So if you don't know the book, if you don't know the film, I'm going to stop it there. But this is not going to be easy, as we see brother versus brother. There will be blood. There will be death. There will be plagues. And we will see how everything turns out. It's kind of hard to summarize this without spoiling it, but that's where I'm going to leave it. Let me say this. Let me get into the film itself. Normally, I avoid the heavily religious films. Sometimes they're not necessarily my go-to genre. I have nothing against them. They're just not my go-to. And when this film came out, I remember going to see it. I was 19. I was excited because, one, I love animated films, and two, I had heard who some of this voice cast was, and I had to see it. At the time, I would see anything that Sandra Bullock was in. Still do, by the way, if I haven't expressed my love enough for Sandy B on all these episodes. And I have to say, they really steer clear of trying to get you to, steer your religious beliefs. They just want to give an interpretation of the Bible, and they succeed in many respects. Not all, but in most. The animation, I'm going to say, it's absolutely stunning. And while there was some incorporation of 3D CGI sequences incorporated, all of the characters are very lifelike because they were all traditionally hand-drawn 2D animation, which is amazing and just what a voice cast like what we have here deserves. Now, I'm sure I will not be the first person to call out the casting here and the representation of the characters that we have. I'm going to hedge my bets here. It was 1997 or 8 when they were recording this. This was DreamWorks' only their second animated feature, being released 2 months after they had Ants, ANTZ, which was completely computer generated. So I'm going to assume they like I said, they hedged those bets. Big names cast can sell this film. And look, we get that stunning animation, those visuals, the chariot race, I don't want to say the other sequences in case anyone is not familiar with this story. So I'll just say that you have to see them. And again, the voice cast, appropriately cast, maybe not, but the ones they have are wonderful. I'm not sure if they recorded together or solely, but the chemistry that comes out, like in the reunions with Kilmer, Bullock, and Goldblum, when they come together, you really feel that authenticity. The accents of Stewart and Mirren and Fiennes make quite interesting to hear for the royal family. My biggest issues with the films, the big dings, I guess you could say, on it, was the adaptation of the script. I don't feel that certain things were as well interpreted as they could have been. I think there was a missed opportunity. Now, as for the music, look, this score, Schwartz, Zimmer, it's as epic as the pyramids and the landscapes where this film is set and drawn. You feel every note just pulsing through the screen, and the massive song, the There are several songs in this film, but When You Believe is placed at such a peak point in the film, it might just bring a tear to your eye. Additionally, the end credits version that they recorded, which, if you don't know, was the ultimate diva duo of Mariah and Whitney in their prime, these divas did their thing, and it was nothing short of heart-stopping. The Prince of Egypt is a visually stunning feast that really needs to be seen and enjoyed. And not just that, this cast, this music, if you can forgive the plot holes, if you can separate yourself from the casting, it's really one to see. It's a solid 4-star film. If you would like to watch or rewatch this one, it's currently available for rental or purchase on most digital platforms. As of this recording and posting, I'm sorry to say there's no streaming options. All right, so there you have it. 2 more to go, and we'll be doing the terrifying double feature for Halloween. As always, if you like what you heard here, please subscribe to the channel, like and share the video, spread the word. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd. Find lots of great additional content on my website, cinephilemike.com. All right, happy watching, everyone, and until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.